but not necessarily a professional in speech and language.
They are, but I just thought, I just didn't really have a clue about how long it takes or what I mean, I've observed it only once, you know, with my child, who I still have a concern for speech. But they told me just to try it back again because he's, you know, and I will. I mean, he'll have another follow-up appointment, but I just thought it was kind of unusual. So, so I know the person who did it, but I just hadn't yet gotten back to, just because we're getting ready to go towards 2-week break, I was going to ask about.
Is there a possibility of a second opinion? I mean, is there any other speech professional that
I
would
have
be
a parent
able to
that's, yeah, there is actually, and, but I thought it was kind of unusual that, you know, we bring it to this person and then he's like, oh yeah. And then he's like, oh, I did it already, I seen him. No, there's no problem. I just thought that was kind of.
When you know there's likely a problem.
Yeah,
When
when
you
I want to see a report saying we tested this, this, and this.
Okay, I just got the fact that, oh no, I met with them and there's no problem. And then it got back to me, you know, through somebody else, you know, in the program. And I just thought that was just so unusual to me. And, you know, but again, I'm going on the relationship. I have a relationship with this person. But I believe that it goes back to being, like you know, as an advocate, that you know, you kind of need to.
You want to be reassured that really there is no problem because they tested this, this, and this, and you want to.
But I don't even know if there really was really a test. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm
That's how I
thinking,
feel.
how can you do like in 10 minutes or
Yeah, and
5 minutes? You know,
Yeah,
you ask a couple of questions and you go, you know. Yeah.
I guess it depends if you want to continue to work with the person and on that level, then you
Well,
could
I have
ask
to.
for a
I have to. But I was gonna just get with. I haven't yet gotten with a parent, but I wanted to do it before the 2-week break. So that's one of my goals. Is when I go back there to say if they're not concerned, you know, they still have a concern. They still need to follow through because I don't think that there was really
An evaluation.
And you understand? Okay.
I asked for a formal report that you can share with the parents. You know, use the fact that you meet with the parents to say, could you write that down in a formal report for me? So
Yeah.
take that back to the parents.
Yeah. A formal report. Yeah.
Yeah, or asking for documentation, or I think getting a second opinion, and then possibly, you know.
Well, I know from my own child,
Right.
there is an issue, but we're gonna take it back to, you know, he was 3 going on 4, I went through the child find and, you know, but he's now 4, and then I'm planning on getting him around the age 5 if I still see a concern, but I'm okay with somebody saying, well, he might be, but we're not sure yet, okay. I'll take it back again, I'll follow it, but I was concerned if there's a child that's going into kindergarten for our program, going in and the parent's still saying, I don't understand my child, you know, that something be done, but I just heard through somebody, oh yeah, that person came in, got him out of the classroom, and I was like, what? How long did that take? Or was it just really, you know, so I wasn't sure that there was a real evaluation, I guess is right.
And again, you know, parents know their children better than anybody, and you know, if a parent is identifying a speech issue, then certainly.
I can agree with them. I mean, I'm like observing him saying,
there's a
you know,
problem.
and he's just only getting older here, and you know, by this
Right.
time. But I was on, you know, but I understand what you're saying though. I mean, it's learn as much as you can, kind of, but I just thinking, but I haven't gone back to the parent to say you need to, I haven't done that. I just gonna say
And you
that.
may see what the policy is on that, if there's a policy under evaluating speech in the place where you were, where you're talking about, just because there may be a policy in place that identifies what they're willing to do or not, you know.
I always say, you know, back things up, even though with a formal request. So a letter that says, I'd like to request a evaluation, a speech evaluation. And then that way, if it's already been done, then the person that did it can just fill out the paperwork and give it to you. If it hasn't been done, then it will be done properly.
Right, okay.
Because now that there's a paper trail and there's.
Putting it in writing is pretty important if you're gonna challenge what they've said they've done.
And it's not even about challenging what they've said they've done, it's just the fact that we need to have documentation.
Well, when I heard of.
To them, it may be perceived
Well,
as them challenging. That's the
Yeah.
perception from them
Well, I have
possibly.
to be,
don't know.
I have to get a definition. My impression is that I need to get a definition of an evaluation, obviously.
Right,
You know,
what
'cause
says
I
they're
think it-
willing, what it
okay.
says they're doing.
Yeah,
Are they meeting
right,
with the child for
right.
10 minutes? Is there something in writing that they have? Are
Okay.
you meeting with the child with 10 minutes and determining that they have a speech problem or not? Or are you evaluating them with a tool, you know, all of those things? And that should
Okay.
be somewhere in the special education policy. If it's not, then, again, I would,
Okay.
yeah, there's a couple different things you could do. You could request written,
Well, I was gonna take it back to the parent first and
sure,
see if that was what they're, you know, if they
Sure.
got anything to say that or whatever, just to follow up to have them advocate for their child, because if they've been
Right.
saying it since the beginning of school, then something.
Right.
You know, but I was
Right.
thinking, it was just kind of a weird occurrence that, I just thought, it happened just that fast, I mean,
yeah. That's
Okay.
odd.
Okay, that to
So
me,
that
it was
question
to me,
mark
it
is
was odd, because I was
probably-
thinking, okay, because I've had my, like I said, I've had my child and I've sat and I've seen what they do. And it
Mhm.
was not just, oh, a brief, ask
10
minutes and then you're done and no, there's no problem. It was a little bit
Mhm.
more in depth than that, and I was not
Mhm.
happy. But that's okay, I just figure I'll just bring it to the parent, because just because I'm not happy doesn't mean that they're not satisfied, you
Sure.
know, they may be.
Sure.
You know, taking myself out of the situation.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And that's a good one, I think that's a good example of, you know, and I don't know the situation of the parents, but perhaps doing the minimal, you know, and sending them on their way, and that, because they can. And so that strong advocacy piece is what makes something more important. So questioning, is this okay? I think that's it's a really good example, I think, of an issue that can get a little odd. So, don't be a whiner, bring a solution. This is something I think that takes a little while to think about, but anybody who has the ability to make a decision is going to be open more to you bringing a solution than just bringing a problem and expecting them to solve it. However, in the IEP process, a lot of time, well, what I've seen, and it happens in some places and not, you know, I work with parents often in Anchorage, and they've pretty much written the IEP before they go in and said this and this and this is what I need, and they've had school district people walk out because they're not ready for strong advocates. I believe that probably 98% of parents go into school and sign an IEP. That's kind of a cookie cutter example. So bringing the wants and needs and, you know, your child best to the table may sometimes set a teacher back or a professional in school districts. So be prepared that it doesn't really need a fight, but to have a solution. I just had a parent who wrote up a wonderful, you know, kind of plan for his child, and there was a lot of resistance because it was going to take a lot of work, you know. So, all right. So identifying your goal, and this is actually. The goal is the solution to your problem. So, you know, the reducing of the wait list is something that has been ongoing for several years. And for the Medicaid waiver, you know, it's just an ongoing issue. Every year we go to Juneau and we request that there be no more wait lists. There's, and again, the numbers are questionable, but they remain, I believe, around the 800 or 900 mark for people that are on the wait list. So That's something that has been ongoing, and the solution to the problem is really no more wait lists. However, there's been steps that have been identified to get us closer to that. Initially, there was only a certain amount of people drawn for a waiver, and it was pretty small. They were able to increase that to 50 people a quarter. And then the autism insurance bill is one that is actually on the Senate floor right now. It was introduced 3 years ago, 2009, by Pete Peterson into the House. It was a House bill for a long time, and then for about 2 years the Senate took it on. It's a Senate bill now, so still working on getting the autism insurance bill. And they're presenting a solution and the facts to see these things happen. So the closure of Harborview was one that took 10 years, but it was something that was persistent in the way that advocacy of many people paid off, and the institution was finally closed. This little arrow is touchy. Okay. So advocacy planning, you want to know who is the person responsible for making the decision. You want to identify natural partners in your own advocacy effort. Generally, even on individual advocacy, you're not the only one with the problem. There's usually someone else. Finding those people is sometimes hard. One of the parents that I've been working with is, he knows there's other people that have this issue, but finding them is hard. I mean, a lot of times people just kind of effortlessly go trying to make things happen, and so getting connected with natural partners who have your same issue is really a good way to gain strength on what you want to bring. Identifying your tactics, putting things in step by step, I think action is really good, and then implementing your plan. So having it in writing, I mean, even if you just jot down a few steps, if you have a notepad of kind of action steps and solutions to provide a way to see the plan implemented. Okay, so the decision makers, those are the people who can grant your request. So it's really important that you know who's going to be able to make the decision. If you're going into, if you have an issue and you don't know who has the power to make a decision over what you're doing, then you're probably wasting a lot of time. So although it is important to go through a hierarchy, you do want to know who the ultimate decision maker is going to be.